Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's going on, Spurs fans and Spurs fans only? This is the Area 210 podcast. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia, and it is a great day to be a Spurs fan because it happened again, Joe.
Yeah.
All we do is win lotteries.
What does Fernandez always say? All we do is win.
All we do is win.
All we do is win.
Now, we didn't get the number 1 overall pick. We moved up to number 2, but that's better than number 8, Joe.
Yeah.
Better than number 8. And it was amazing watching the draft lottery last night. And you see the Mavericks jump up, and at that point, I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, Spurs are going to pick at number 9.
Yeah.
Right? We went into the lottery with a 30% chance of moving into the top 4. The number 14 pick obviously was going to be 14 because that only had like a 3% chance of moving up.
Yeah.
But it was that 8 pick, and when Dallas moved up, and when the Spurs weren't called at 9, because in order we should drop to number 9.
Yeah.
When we weren't called at 9, I was like, oh my God, it happened again.
Yeah. When we hit number 8 came, right, and the Spurs name wasn't called, I was like, oh man, they got a top. That's what I instantly thought, they got a top pick.
Right. Now, one of our subscribers, name is Ishan, reached out to me on Twitter before the lottery. This was hours before the lottery. And he goes, what do you think the Spurs are going to be picking at? Make your prediction. Guess what I predicted?
2
and 14.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did I predict 2? Because out of all the players that I wanted on that draft board,
You wanted Harper.
I wanted Dylan Harper. So it's funny because I know Cooper Flagg is the consensus number 1 overall pick.
He did not look happy yesterday.
He did not look happy. He was just monotone. And Dylan Harper going number 2, I don't think Spurs fans understand how good this guy is. Okay? It wasn't Cooper Flagg and then a bunch of other dudes in tier 2 and 3.
Scrubs.
It was tier 1 is Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. Okay? There's no debate or argument as to who's number 1 and 2. This isn't the Wemby draft, Joe, where it's like Wemby and then far below Wemby is Scoot Henderson. It's not that, Joe. There were 2 picks that were considered 1 and 1A, and halfway through the college season, some people were like, well, you know what? Dylan Harper might be the number 1 overall pick, right? He might be. But when I thought about it yesterday, Joe, and this is why I answered the question that Ishan had put out there on Twitter, where do you think the Spurs are going to fall? I thought of R. Kelly a little bit. My mind is telling me no.
Yeah.
But my body. Okay. My head was saying that the player that I wanted to get in the draft, my head was saying that obviously you want to go get Cooper Flagg, right?
Flag or bust, right?
But my body, my heart was saying that I wanted Dylan Harper. So when I answered that to Ishan asking the question, where do you think the Spurs are going to pick? 2 and 14, I wanted Dylan Harper. So now I had to be the dick yesterday and post out there, if you want Giannis, you don't trade Dylan Harper, you trade Stephon Castle. And I didn't mean it to be a dick, but look at this, Joe. And by the way, we're going to be joined by James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star at 10:30. So in about 20 minutes. The embarrassment of riches that the Spurs have in the backcourt. Remember? Okay, here was the backcourt before the season started last year. A 39-year-old Chris Paul, a rookie in Stephon Castle, who was just a rookie at that point.
Yeah.
An often injured Devin Vassell, and Blake Wesley. That was the Spurs backcourt going into last season, October 2024. Right now, as it stands right now, it appears as though the Spurs backcourt's going to be former All-Star De'Aaron Fox, who's in his prime, Rookie of the Year Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, a 5-star recruit who could have gone number 1 overall in any other draft, and by the way, Devin Vassell.
Look at this.
That is stacked, Joe. I tell me another backcourt, and there might be 1 or 2 out there. Tell me another backcourt that's better than that. And oh, by the way, we have Wemby.
Yeah, look at this. I retweeted this out. It was by Bobby Marks. And this was prior to the NBA draft, right?
Okay.
And at that time, we didn't know where the Spurs were going to pick, right? So he had posted this out, and it was De'Aaron Fox, you have Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Victor Wembanyama.
Mm-hmm.
Out of this whole lineup right here, I'd like to see Devin Vassell moved from being a starter to being on the bench, because it's been proven that him and Wemby together on the court at the same time, it's like oil and water, man. It don't mix.
It is.
It don't mix.
But, you look at it this way. The team is rounding into shape because the Spurs are going to select Dylan Harper. And I know that there's a faction of the Spurs fans out there who, by the way, about 36 hours ago, I was part of it. Give me the chancla. If I have to pay the $5, give me the chancla. Okay, I'm going to chancla myself. And here's the reason why, Joe. It's all about what happened. It's what happened, okay?
Well, what happened was...
If Dallas had moved up to get the number 1 overall pick and the Spurs were at number 9, and we're at 9-14, and I'm looking at this swap in 2026 that we get from Atlanta, and Atlanta is unprotected in 2027, I am team F them picks. Our good friend Chris Leha from MCS General Contracting, who, by the way,
phrase.
They power the chat
Yep.
on this glorious podcast.
Yep, there you go.
Okay? That is team F them picks. Spurs picking number 9, number 8. Yeah, F them picks. We're picking at number 2, Joe.
Number 2, and look at what the Spurs salary caps is right now. $147 million. The first apron, to reach the first apron, they have to be at $195.9 million. To reach the second, they have to be at $207.8 mil. The tax threshold is $187.8 mil, so they're not even there yet. The Spurs right now at the number 2 and number 14 pick, and they have the number 38 pick going into the second round, are in great shape. And this is the thing that the Spurs fans have to realize. I understand we're going to go and get the best available player, and that's probably going to be a point guard, shooting guard, a power forward, small forward, something like that, right? And that's not a bad thing, because the one thing that this team sorely needs is somebody to space the floor. They need bucket getters. They need somebody that can knock down shots. Now, with the 38th pick in that second round, you can draft for need. You can go and get a center.
You could do that at 14.
You could do that at 14, too.
And I'm not exactly believing that the Spurs are going to keep the number 14 pick.
Yeah,
but what do we say about Brian Wright? Brian Wright has got to be the luckiest MFer in all of San Antonio because he now has no options other than to draft Dylan Harper. It's not like, 2023 rolls around. It's obvious you take Victor Wembanyama number 1 overall. Number 4 last year, it's obviously you take Stephon Castle. And this year, it's obvious you take Dylan Harper. So you're taking the decision-making away because I don't necessarily trust him with the decision-making with that. But I do trust him when it comes to trades, Joe. We got De'Aaron Fox for 10 cents on the dollar, and we got to ship out Zach Collins' contract, and we shipped out Trey Jones, who was in a contract final year. We got something for it, right? He's been able to get certain picks and certain things for certain players along the way. I trust Brian Wright 100% when it comes to trades. I don't trust him when it comes to picks yet. But the thing is that it's now out of his hands. He doesn't have to deal with that because we all know that Dylan Harper is the number 2 overall pick in the draft. And for those who are like, well, we want Giannis, I get it. But things changed. So who is Dylan Harper, Joe? Because a lot of Spurs fans don't understand, and they look at things like Stephon Castle, and they think, well, he was Rookie of the Year, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I'll show you all who Dylan Harper is.
Well, I got some right here.
Yeah.
I got some right here, and this is courtesy of ESPN.
Let me go ahead. Oh, we have the audio. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
I'll take the audio. I'll take the audio. But here's the thing about Dylan Harper. So Dylan Harper, if you hear the name Dylan Harper, Harper is the son of Ron Harper, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to show something that I have on my Twitter account. I posted this earlier today. If you could show my screen real fast.
Yeah, I'm getting your screen up here.
Ron Harper was a 15-year NBA veteran.
There you go.
15 years. Do you see who he won 5 chips with, Joe? Ron Harper, his dad, was a 5-time champion with the Chicago Bulls and the LA Lakers. He was not just a player. He wasn't Steve Kerr coming off the bench, knocking down a couple of threes and then walking back off the court. He was the starting point guard for the Bulls in their run in the 90s.
Championship.
He was the starting point guard of Kobe's Lakers in the early 2000s. And Ron Harper was also the assistant coach for 3 seasons of the Detroit Pistons when they were making their runs in the early 2000s. And this is called pedigree, Joe.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, well, Bronny James is the son of LeBron. Bronny James was never a 5-star recruit. Bronny James was never the consensus number 1 or 2 player in the draft, okay? This is different. Ron Harper's kid, Dylan, has been the truth from the get-go. He played at Rutgers, but he had offers from Duke. They thought he was going to go to Duke to play with Cooper Flagg. He went to Rutgers instead. Played at a smaller, less. I mean, it's in New Jersey, but at a school that doesn't have the notoriety that the Dukes or the UNCs have of the world.
Look, we got an incoming super chat from Mario Cavazos. Thanks, Mario. We do appreciate it, man.
Yeah, says, and Jimenez, we shall never, ever trust. Here's the thing, Joe. This is where I'm going to get arrogant.
Oh, no.
When it comes to the Spurs, Joe, I bet 800.
You know, I'm not going to lie, dude. You do have some good picks, some good expectations. Like, you can project this.
Right.
I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. And then more than not, it does. It comes to fruition.
It does. And, Joe, let's show some Dylan Harper highlights.
All right. Let's show him, man. You got him up there?
I do have him up here. Dylan Harper, look, he averaged 19.4 points per game in college, 4.6 assists. 4.6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.4 steals, shot 48.4% from the field. 3-point shooter of 33.3%, which, Castle was a 26% shooter in college. He became a 32% shooter in the pros. Harper had a better 3-point shooting. Effective field goal shooting, Joe, that's my favorite number.
Yeah, EFG.
EFG at 54.6. Not bad. Not bad. Let's look at some highlights. He is 6'6", Joe. I'll get the music out of here, Joe.
Yeah, I'll show him like this.
He is 6'6", Joe, just like Stephon Castle. 6'6", just like Castle.
Demon Mike.
He's got some size.
Today.
All right, I got the highlights right here. Let's look at some highlights, courtesy of the NBA and of ESPN as well. Let's see what this guy can do. 6'6", running the break. He's got some handles. Can close out. Now, I like the fact that Stephon Castle slows down when he drives in. He has this whole thing where he drives in and then he slows down and gets the player, the defender off the ground. This is not the case with Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper does not slow down when he gets to the rim. He accelerates when he gets to the rim.
Lucas Fernandez is with you, man. Dylan Harper, the bloodline.
That's what I'm talking about,
There
baby.
you go, man.
Dylan Harper's dad, 15-time All-Star. Do you know Dylan Harper's dad, Ron Harper? We remember him from the Kobe years and the Jordan years, right? But before all that, he was somebody who averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. Ron Harper averaged 20 points per game 5 times in his career.
Look at this. We have somebody watching us from the X. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, man. And it's Dat San Anto Vato. He says,
I like it.
When he was with the Cavs, Ron was almost as good as Jordan in the beginning.
Yeah.
He was a really good player in the beginning.
Let's go full screen on some of these plays here.
Yeah.
Now Ron Harper's son, Dylan Harper, only played 1 season of college ball at Rutgers. Now, Rutgers wasn't that very good of a team. Even though they have Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, who are both going to go in the top 5, they were not the best players. They were not the best team. Not at all. But this guy has skills, Joe. He is 6'6", can run the break, can shoot, can make free throws. He accelerates. Imagine him and Castle on the court together. It's kind of like someone who shoots, who can pitch a lot of fastballs, and another one who pitches a lot of curveballs. Just the look that you can give an opposing defense of someone who's thunder and someone who's lightning.
They can be a problem because you look at Castle, and Castle is great at reading the floor, right? He's a good passer, get out there in the open court, can create his own shot, aggressive going to the rim.
Right.
You know, the only faux pas that he has is he's not a great shooter. Well, if you look at Harper, Harper's a better shooter than Castle. If Castle can go ahead and find Harper, get him the ball, allow him to work, they can space the floor a little bit more.
But what makes Harper a little bit different, Joe, is how dynamic his game is. We're seeing some highlights here that we would never have seen from Stephon Castle. Do you know what he was doing, Joe?
No.
He was posting up.
Hey,
When you have a 6'6.5" guard who look at that, he can post up, Joe. He has drop step moves.
need somebody in the paint.
For me to say that Dylan Harper is better than Stephon Castle is not a slight on Stephon Castle. It's just the fact that we're getting somebody who happens to be the same position who's better. What did I joke before the show, Joe? We can't draft Michael Jordan. We got Clyde Drexler.
Yeah.
You know, when the Rockets took Hakeem Olajuwon, which was still a very good move for them back in the day, and I'm not saying Dylan Harper is Jordan, but what I am saying is that the Spurs are not so good of a team that we draft for position. We draft the best player available.
What is your favorite phrase as well? Positionless basketball.
Oh, positionless basketball. Hell, if we're playing positionless basketball, then this is what we're doing.
Hey, we do have an incoming super chat we got to get to. I'm trying to get to all your comments as fast as I can. This one's coming from Matt Lerma.
Hey, Matt, thank you for filling in yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, really
Thank
do
you,
appreciate it, man. It says Brian Wright is about to flip McLaughlin, Brandon, and Vassell for Giannis and probably try to trade up for Flag. Nico and Coop probably won't get along. Okay, so here's the thing.
He's not lying.
Here's the thing about Giannis, though, man, and this is where we have to get this going. When it came to De'Aaron Fox, we fleeced the Kings because De'Aaron Fox wanted to be here. Fox's wife was from San Antonio, and he wanted to play with Wemby. And when he made that point out there, he made it known.
Yeah.
It was done. The problem with Giannis is it's a bidding war. You have not only the Spurs, you have the Rockets, you have the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, you might even have a team like the Mavericks.
Yeah. Look, we have some chats coming in, and they're saying, well, Harper is from a good pedigree because his dad used to play in the league, and they're trying to go ahead and push back and say just because a player's son is playing now, said player if he wasn't a superstar and he was just a good role player, it's not like, Bear County says here, Gary Payton Jr. is taking over the league.
The problem with that, Joe, is that when you look at players like Gary Payton Jr., and I apologize for interrupting, Gary Payton Jr., Bronny James, and all that, none of them were ever touted as being 5-star.
Second coming of the daddy,
They were never. They just happened to be the son of a certain player. I understand what they're getting at, but you need to understand that the talent level is different. Dylan Harper. If you ask 32 teams out there, who would you rather have, Dylan Harper or Bronny James? Every single team would go, well, we want Dylan Harper. Why? Because Dylan Harper is a 5-star player who was the basketball player of the year for the state of New Jersey, who was a 5-star recruit unanimously by ESPN, by Max Preps. All of them had them as a 5-star recruit. He's also 6'6.5" when you have Bronny James is 6'2", 6'3". It's not the same, Joe.
Yeah, and what I was going to get at is it doesn't matter, if they're, let's say, the player that the Spurs pick, if they come from a great pedigree, that's great. Their dad had some NBA knowledge, can impart that onto the son. That's great and all, but I'm not saying that the son is going to be better or just as good as the dad, but what I'm saying is you have to look at the sum of the parts. And sometimes what you need is you just need a good role player that fits the system. And I think that's what the Spurs need to get. Not only do you have already Fox, you have Wemby, you have Castle, arguably you have Vassell too there that's, inconsistent. That's my only gripe against him. Needs a lot of touches to get his points. And that's why he doesn't play well with Wemby. But beyond that, you need some guys that you're going to bring in that are going to be good pieces, that are going to be able to play their role and play it well. And that will complement what we already have and make this team a more dynamic team where they can compete given any given night with any other team.
I like the way that you said compliment, okay?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. As I mentioned, the pedigree is his dad, Ron Harper, who played 15 seasons in the NBA, who was also an all-NBA rookie first-team player back in the day, was the number 8 pick in the draft in the 80s. What did Ron Harper do? He was a role player.
He was a role player.
He was a good role player who, when you need him to score 25 points, could do it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Manu.
He's a scrappy guy too, man.
Yeah. And he had, dude, Ron Harper had some dog in him.
Oh, yeah, he had some dog in him, dude. He
Okay.
wouldn't back down.
So Ron Harper knew how to run an offense that had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, and had that respect. He was able to run an offense that had Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant and had that respect. The corporate knowledge that Dylan Harper has is incredibly high because his dad was not a superstar. So for those who are like saying Bronny James, LeBron James is a superstar all-time great, right? We don't need an all-time great like that. What I'm talking about here is somebody who has corporate knowledge of what it's like to be a player in the NBA, have a long career, and be good at what they do. And the more I look at these stats, these highlights, Joe, if you could put them back on.
Yeah.
And I'll get to Sam's Super Chat. The more I get excited about this is that, I'm sorry, he's a better recruit than Stephon Castle, and it's not a slight on Castle. Castle's my favorite player on this team. But we see Dylan Harper play what he could do for Rutgers, and what he does on a one-on-one basis, he's the better recruit. He just is. And that is a spoil of riches. That's so great for a Spurs team to not only have Stephon Castle, who deservedly won Rookie of the Year, but now we have Dylan Harper, who I'm sorry is the better prospect. I told somebody yesterday that Stephon Castle might actually be an all-star. He might be a two-time all-star, three-time all-star, and that'd be a hell of a career for Stephon Castle. Because who is Castle? Castle to me is like Drew Holiday, right?
Yeah.
Dylan Harper is going to be an 8-time all-star.
And somebody in the chat said, why are we drafting role players at number 2? And it's like, it doesn't mean like he's not going to be a good player. They can't all be superstars.
You can't. It's not an all-star team. Dylan Harper is not going to be a role player. He's going to be a star in the NBA.
Yeah,
he's going to be an all-star many times in the NBA. And there's all these people who are like, well, what about Scoot Henderson? What about whatever? There are good drafts and bad drafts, Joe. What did we say about last year? Last year was a bad draft. It was a bad draft class, and really maybe only 6 or 7 decent players in the entire draft out of the 60 players that were drafted. This year has been touted as a good draft. Dude, Malcolm Brogdon won Rookie of the Year 15 years ago. That doesn't mean that Malcolm Brogdon compares to Wemby because they both won Rookie of the Year.
What happened with Dillingham? He went over there to Minnesota, right?
Struggled.
I mean,
But there's not anybody who watches basketball, Joe, who looks at Dylan Harper and goes, yeah, that guy's not the truth.
he's a scrub. No, they don't look at him and say he's
They
a scrub.
don't.
No.
The Spurs just lucked out again.
Yeah.
And as we're looking at highlights, Joe, the guy looks NBA ready. There's no hesitation to what he does.
You would hope that if you're going to get a top 4 or top 5 pick, said player is going to be of a higher quality.
Look,
NBA ready.
Look at the confidence, Joe, of him stroking the three. Yeah, it does. Maybe I'd want him to be a few percent higher, but look at the confidence level of his shot.
Yeah.
Look at his confidence.
Look at that.
Joe, I'm sorry. I love Castle, but Harper has a higher ceiling. And the funny thing is that Castle's ceiling's an all-star.
Yeah, Castle's still very good.
Dude, it is a good day to be a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to disrespect any player, but what I'm saying is that I don't think Spurs fans understand that this was not the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. It was the Cooper Flag Dylan Harper sweepstakes. And we need to understand that we got that. And all those people who are like, F them picks, let's go get 2 years of Giannis. It's not going to cost just Dylan Harper. It's going to cost Harper, Vassell, Keldon, Sohan. It's going to cost 3 or 4 or 5 first-round draft picks.
You Castle, man.
And it might cost you Castle. That's the thing. We're not in a bidding war with ourselves. We're in a bidding war with Brooklyn, who has several first-round draft picks. We're in a bidding war with Houston, who has better young core players. We're in a bidding war with Dallas. We're in a bidding war with other teams. It's not going to be the whole thing of, well, we're going to trade Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, keep Castle, and maybe trade the number 2 pick, and that'd be it. That's not how it works, dude. Yeah. That's not how bidding wars work.
We do have an incoming super chat from Sam Salinas we need to get to. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everybody. We appreciate these super chats. And he's saying, what about this? If we get Harper instead of Castle and offloading him, what if Fox is the man out?
You know, I thought about that. That would be bad business because we want good players to come here, and if the Spurs do that to Fox, then it'd kind of be Bush League.
Yeah.
If the Spurs did that.
Look at Sean Quintero. He says, let's bring Mike Mitchell Jr. back.
That's on the show.
He was good when he was on, man.
That's a pretty good idea. Next week when I'm back in town, we'll make that happen. Hey, Joe, here's the thing about it, man. If you look at it this way, we are getting these guys on rookie deals. Castle's on a rookie deal. Wemby's on a rookie deal. Harper's on a rookie deal. I mean, Joe, this is the opportunity to pay a De'Aaron Fox. Someone's got to get paid. De'Aaron Fox is going to be the guy that gets paid, but maybe his contract isn't as long as we think it's going to be. Maybe it's just 3 years as opposed to 4 or 5.
Yeah, and look at there you have it. You're looking at Dylan Harper. He's 6'4.5", right? Barefoot, 213.2 pounds with a 6'10.5" wingspan.
He's 6'6" with his shoes on.
Yeah, and it's like, and standing at 8'6" a standing reach.
Yeah.
I mean, and the kid, he's still young. Who's to say he can't grow another inch or so?
It's possible. Now, standing at 5'10", we've got James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star joining us right now. Let's see if we can bring him on. Our good friend Pledger.
Where did you get my combine measurements from?
Joining us, James Pledger, 6'10.5" tall.
Did I get the 5'10" right, Pledge?
You got the 5'10" right. At 5'10", 163 pounds out of Smithson Valley, Texas. Katy Lake, Texas, by way of
what's your standing? What's your standing reach?
I don't know. The closest beer.
There
you go.
He's
there
a little overmodulated. If we could pot him down a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get him.
But it's funny because I did that segue, Joe and Pledge. Rob Thompson used to always look at me and go, "Man, that's a professional segue, dude. That's a top-notch professional segue to segue in that way." But Pledge, you and I were on the phone last night, and I don't think people realize that you and I are actually really good friends.
Creepiest thing in the world. I called
Why
Mike.
is that?
I called Mike, and the first thing I hear when the phone gets answered in this low whisper is, "I miss you." Like, no hi, no what's going on, buddy. Just ring.
I miss you. I miss you.
Damn.
It's a little creepy.
Pleasure of San Antonio Sports Star. It is a little creepy. The embarrassment that it is being a Spurs fan, man. And I'll take this embarrassment. We are the most fortunate fan base of all time. I know we're not getting Cooper Flag, but you know what? I'm going to be the first to say it. F Cooper Flag. Oh, I hope he tears a knee. I hope he tears a knee.
Stop it.
No. But what I'm saying though is that I think a lot of Spurs fans were under the belief that this was the Cooper Flag sweepstakes and that there was nothing behind it, right? But there truly is a 1-1A. There's truly a 1-1A. That tier 1 is Cooper Flag. We know that he was the best player, but I don't think there's as much of a fall off as people think when it comes to Dylan Harper. Every single mock draft, Pledge, doesn't matter if it's SI, ESPN, whatever, has Harper going 2. There's not one mock draft that I've seen that has any other player going 2, and that shows that there was a 1-1A in this draft. What say you?
Sure, but let's say we don't know what, and I'm just going to throw this out because I don't know. A, what would it cost to move up one spot? Would Dallas be willing to listen? And what would be your walkaway price?
Okay.
Because you've got the assets. You've got 2, which if there is a 1 and a 1A and Harper is that close, how do they feel about Harper in their building? Would they possibly want to move down and get Harper and some extra assets?
Black Bucket, give us a chat right now. Thank you for that. He says, Mike is throbbing this morning.
There you go.
They said you took your Blue Chew.
I took my Blue Chew. I took my hymns early this morning. So talking to James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star, I think that the chances of moving up to Dylan to getting Cooper Flagg are 0%, and I'll tell you why. The Dallas fan base, after the whole Luka Doncic debacle, would go out and torch the house that Nico Harrison lives in.
You act like they care.
Even if you were to say
they have been quadrupling down on this.
Yes, I know they have, but I look at it this way: what would it take? It's a legit offer, okay? A legit offer in many years that are bad drafts, like last year's draft. It would have been the 2 and 14 would have been enough to have gotten you in there, just based by the trade value chart that's out there. But for
is
a
it
Cooper
feasible?
Flagg, it's
Mike,
probably going to.
I just want to ask you: is it feasible? With as crazy as Nico Harrison is in terms of what they've said since the Luka trade, how they've handled it, and the fact that they did it without even informing the rest of the league, is it out of the realm of the possibility that maybe they like Harper more than Flagg?
It's within the realm of possibility. It really is. You look at it this way. It's probably going to take a lot to make that happen beyond Dylan Harper. Probably be Dylan Harper. Probably the swap with Atlanta. It'll probably be the 27 pick and our 27 pick, and that's very, very, very possible. Talking to James Pledger, San Antonio Sports Star.
Is that too much? Throw in Devin Vassell.
If you throw in Devin Vassell because you want that contract out, then yes.
Hey, you want the contract out, but they do need guards. Like they are very guard-like.
Right. And Kyrie gets hurt a lot. So
and they won't even have him till what, at the earliest January?
Right. So okay, I like where you're going with this, Pledge. The box was right here, and Pledge is over here thinking outside the box. I like it. I don't think it's that possible. But if you want to go kick the tires to see if someone would be willing to do it, if Nico Harrison has the balls to do that to Dallas again,
they kicked the tires on Luka. Nobody thought that was possible.
So I'm looking at NBA Draft.net, NBADraft.net, right? The player comparison for Dylan Harper is Jalen Brunson / Cade Cunningham. Jalen Brunson, who's had a fantastic second half of his career first with the Dallas Mavericks, then with the New York Knicks. Cade Cunningham, who is balling out for the Pistons right now. That is the player comparison according to NBADraft.net. I'm looking at this backcourt. Let's say that nothing happens, Pledge. And we do that old phrase for the Spurs, we like who we got. A backcourt of Fox, Castle, Vassell, and Harper would be just unreal. Would be just unreal. To add Wemby to that, Sohan. I'm so excited by this, Pledge. But is there any other player in this draft that you think could be a curveball where it's like, well, maybe we trade down to 3 or 4, get more assets, and get another player? Do you think that's even in the realm of possibility?
What are you going to do with those assets? You already got more assets than you can use. No. My question is, what do they do with 2? Do they take Harper? Are they using that as ammunition to go get a Giannis Antetokounmpo? Do they take Harper and move other pieces, other assets that they have to bring in the things that they're missing in terms of whether it is supplementing a big or 3-point shooting? Like I'm looking for this team to start rounding out the edges. Like we know they've got stars. They've got Wemby. They've got Fox. Castle looks like he's going to be a star. Are they going to use these pieces to go get another star? Because we've seen just throwing stars together doesn't work. How do they fit together? That's the main thing. And right now, this team isn't built to fit. There are a bunch of pieces but none of them fit really well together. And even if they do, they're in the wrong spots. Like Devin Vassell shouldn't be starting. He should be coming off the bench. Castle should be starting. Like nothing works right. And so you've got to find a way to smooth out the edges. You got to find the pieces that fit. You've got a ball dominant in Fox. You've got a guy that you want to be a ball dominant in terms of having the offense flow through him in Wemby. If you go get Giannis, that's another guy that needs the balls in his hands. Like, you got to start finding ways to find the pieces around the guys that you want to build around.
We got an incoming super chat.
Super chat coming in from Drew Show saying, legit offer, Mike. Paying attention, how legit was the Luka trade? Luka is a maniac, a wild card, the Joker who just wants to watch the world burn. You saw what happened after the trade of Luka to Dallas and the crowd chanting "Fire Nico, fire Nico," and it happened for like 2 months in the year. And you saw Mark Cuban, who's now the minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, put his head in his hands and in embarrassment there. That's why I don't think it's going to happen. But here's the thing, Pledge. I honestly think the whole thing for Giannis died last night. I think that if the Spurs had been picking at 8 or 9, we'd be sending a crap load of picks and players for Giannis. But I think that getting Dylan Harper makes it different because now you have to pivot. And the pivot is we have a player.
What's your walk away when it comes to Giannis? There's got to be a walk away. Everybody's got to walk away.
Okay, so like what am I willing to trade for Giannis at this point? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Okay. Like
at this point,
what pick or player is your like? I can't do that.
As of right now, the only players that I can't do that are Wemby and Harper.
So Wemby and two, like those are your walkaways.
Those are my walkaways. Castle, take them.
You get rid of the Toyota
Fox,
Corolla?
take them. Harrison Barnes, take them.
Wow.
The 27 pick, take them. What do you disagree?
I'd rather keep Castle than two. Like Castle, defensively, he fits. Offensively, he fits because he doesn't need the ball. He kind of finds his offense within the flow. It doesn't have to run through him. Like I like what he brings. Harper, the ball needs to go through him. Like that, you're adding another piece that needs the ball with Dylan Harper, and I don't know if this offense can sustain that. And not as currently constructed anyway. You got to make some major retooling if you're going to build around, like, let's say Wemby and Harper instead, right? So at that point,
he's a different. I was gonna say they're different types of players, man. You know, and I'm not saying that Harper can't become that guy and become the role player, but
Harper's better offensively, Castle's better defensively.
Right.
And they complement one another because of that. You know, Castle is he's a better passer. He can read the floor better, as I had said, right? More of a point guard mentality. He's very aggressive going to the rim. He goes to the rim with a lot of confidence, can create his own shot. And when you look at Harper's a good perimeter shooter, right? Great shooter. That's all he does is get you buckets. I mean, if Castle's going to garner the attention of the defense as he's making his move to the basket, and he has somebody now that he can pass to that can knock down an open shot, that opens the floor up for everybody else.
Both are very good at attacking the basket. But what the difference between the two, Castle's a little bit better defensively. Harper is a lot more confident with his shot outside of 15 feet.
This is true. He is more confident.
He will let it fly.
No,
and it's a good problem to have. Yeah, it's. But
confidence doesn't mean
argued
good.
About that earlier yesterday. Right? No. That's shameful.
You know who else is confident with their shot? Devin Vassell.
Devin Vassell.
Oh God.
But you know, I'm looking at it, and the Spurs need to make that one effort to go get him, right? So let's say the Spurs were to package Vassell, Harrison Barnes, and Keldon and 4 first-round draft picks. If that's going to be it, I'll take it.
But that's not going to be it. If you're going to have to make a trade for Giannis, more than likely it's going to cost you Castle.
Here's what I want to address, and Sam Salinas brings it up in the YouTube chat. Stop speaking as if we're desperate for Giannis. He wants out. Milwaukee doesn't have the upper hand. That's not true. If he doesn't force, like literally, he just wants to play in Texas where there's no state taxes, he said. And it wasn't even Texas. It's just no state taxes. Houston has just as much ammunition, if not more, in terms of ready-made talent versus picks. Like, San Antonio has the upper hand in picks. Houston has the upper hand in talent. And if they're in a bidding war against each other, you can drive that price up on one side or the other because they are willing to throw in Jalen Green, who is a walking 25 points a game. Alperen Şengün. You look at Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith Jr., Reed Shepherd. Like, they've got the young assets, plus the picks that they got from Phoenix, which doesn't look like they're going to be good anytime in the near future right now and looking to blow up what they're at. They've got picks and players, while San Antonio basically just has picks.
Well, we're not going to get him for 10 cents on the dollar.
Not like you did Fox.
We got De'Aaron Fox. Exactly. This is a bidding war. And the good thing is I think in the driver's seat, I know ESPN is out there saying that it's because it's Brooklyn because big market and all that stuff. I can bet you a lot of money that the Bucks don't want to trade him to an Eastern Conference team.
No,
you don't want to pay.
No, you don't want
to play him 5 times.
No,
right? So the Spurs and the Rockets are there, and would I want Giannis on this team? Yes, but do you want to empty the war chest? Yesterday, around this time, the answer is yeah. You want to.
If it was 8-14, you would want to.
You empty the war chest, but things change. Things change, and and this is why you don't do the trades until after the draft lottery.
I was going to ask Pledge a question. Look at this, Pledge, and hear me out here.
Yeah.
Now the Spurs have the number 2 pick and they have the number 14 pick.
Yep.
It changes the dynamic of the team because now you can go out there and get your bucket getters because you need somebody on this team that can knock down open jumpers. You have that if you get your 2 and 14 pick, if you keep those. Now the Spurs have the 38th pick going in the second round. If you need to go ahead and get a backup center for Wemby, there you go. Now in this draft, they can go ahead and address all the needs that they're needing on this team. Now, maybe not all of them, but some of them. And then you can go into free agency and look and get some veteran pieces that can complement the younger core. And I think you have a well-rounded team. One of the big moves I think the Spurs need to do is go and get Vassell from that starting lineup. Go ahead and slide him into that second unit and bring more balance. And there you go. I think you have a really good balanced team. That's just my thoughts. What do you think, Pledge?
I mean, I like balance. I like Harper coming off the bench and being a catalyst for that second unit. If he can, accept being in a Manu Ginobili role, like it's very, very difficult for especially American stars, these highly recruited stars, to accept a role like Manu Ginobili did coming from overseas. It's not likely because everybody sees Jason Tatum making $70 million a year and wants to get their swing at that bag. And you can only get that bag by being the guy. And taking a lesser role to satiate a team need isn't the type of mentality that a lot of players are willing to accept. And that's just cold hard facts. Would you be willing to take less money to fill into a role for the show, right? Knowing that you could be more.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult for these people that can see the amount of money that's being made. But I look at it this way too, and as it pertains to the Giannis Antetokounmpo talk, sure, you can get them, but at what cost? Because you're all of a sudden giving up, let's say Devin Keldon. I'm even going to leave Castle out of it to satiate Spurs fans. So you're giving up Devin Keldon and Sohan. There's the 50, 60 million that you're going to pay. So you exported 3 players to add 1 at the same cost. You still have the same obligations coming up with having to pay Fox, having to pay Wemby, and then having to pay Castle in consecutive years. The salary cap, this isn't a team that's going to go high into the luxury tax. They've proven that.
Yeah.
At some point, you still haven't addressed the needs on this team either in terms of shooting, spacing. All you've done is subbed out 3 pieces for 1 at the same price and fixed 0 needs on this team. At some point, you have to start
addressing. Still got nobody to guard the wing.
You got to start addressing how to build a team and a roster. And I think that's why we're starting to see these teams like the team that is constructed in Oklahoma City, like the team that is constructed in Minnesota, like the team that they've constructed down in Houston, like these other teams that are building as teams. Hell, even Boston, they didn't go out and acquire a bunch of superstar talents to put around Brown and Tatum. They made them the stars and went out and got Derek Whites and Drew Holidays and role players to fit around them. The Spurs kind of need to maybe start thinking in that mentality.
And I think that began last night. I think that began last night because when you have the number 2 overall pick and you know that it's going to be Dylan Harper, it changes everything. Drew Show's saying that I came out and said, $5 super chat, that I said that the Bucks could raid our assets and turn the Spurs into the 2013 Nets. And the Pledge is like, that's my boy. No, I did not say that. I don't want them going after Giannis at this point. But the Spurs have some expiring deals, Pledge. Which of these players are going to be on this team, not this upcoming season, but the season after? Here are the expiring deals that the Spurs have. The Spurs have an expiring deal of Harrison Barnes this year.
Keep him.
Okay.
I'd like to
$19
keep
million
him.
Last year of his deal.
It depends on the price.
Better than is he better than Sohan?
Okay, Charles Bassey is on an expiring deal. You have Julian Champagny on an expiring deal this year. And then lastly, the 2022 first-round draft class, Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, and let's talk about Jeremy Sohan. Jeremy Sohan.
Bye.
Oh, well, wait.
Hey,
I'm going to hit him with the Justin Timberlake and NSYNC. Bye.
Hit him with the chancla. Give Sohan the chancla. Gone.
No, I think Pledger gets the chancla on this one. Let's see it.
Oh.
Pledger gets the chancla. He gets the flip-flop. We got some super chats coming in from Douglas.
That 22 draft class. Bye.
Yes, says Giannis is going to screw us financially. It'll ruin the team long term. We won't have any depth. Draft Harper, keep depth, keep assets. Very nice.
I like that move.
Also says Jason Garcia from the Pacific Northwest coming out saying, have we seen the end of the LeBron super teams? They're not working. Teams were winning, right? You mentioned Oklahoma City. You mentioned Denver.
That's true, but it's not, right? It's true and they're not working because teams are just going after superstars and trying to acquire as many as possible like Infinity Stones. When Golden State did it, they did it in a calculated way. They added a player that fit because Kevin Durant doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective offensively. Right. So he worked in the construct of the way the Warriors were built because Klay Thompson also works without the ball. So it's different. Draymond Green doesn't demand the basketball to be effective. So it worked in that construct. The problem is now it's like Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant and Brooke, everybody's just throwing superstars at the problem, hoping it fixes it. And it's not. Those pieces have to fit. Like Giannis and Dame, they don't fit.
Yeah. How excited are you, Pledge? I mentioned this earlier in the show. The corporate knowledge that Dylan Harper has because his dad played in the NBA for 15 seasons, was a 25-5 guy for several seasons, was a 5-time champion, 3 times with the Bulls, twice with the Lakers. He played with Michael Jordan, started with Michael Jordan, started with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, Scottie Pippen also, Dennis Rodman, all those guys. The corporate knowledge, I kind of feel like the Spurs are drafting Arch Manning. You know, because Arch Manning can come in to any team, can go into any team and rely on his dad, on his granddad Archie, or his uncle Peyton, his uncle Eli. I mean, Ron Harper, Dylan's
Ron
dad,
Harper was a
also
great
an
role
assistant
player
coach
in the NBA. It's like Steph.
He
like,
was.
He
yeah,
was.
Del Curry was his dad, but let's not make Del Curry like he's some first ballot Hall of Famer. Ron Harper wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. He was a good NBA player.
Ron Harper is in the Hall of Very Good. He's in the Hall of Very Good, and he's also somebody who is also good buddies with Michael Jordan. So I'm just saying that there's going to be knowledge in the house that he's going to have that maybe an Ace Bailey won't, or that maybe a Reed Shepherd last year wouldn't have gotten. He has pedigree. That's what it comes down to.
We have another super chat.
If you had a bet on it, Pledge. If you had a bet on it, number 14 pick, we drafting at 14, or we kicking that one down the road, trading it?
It depends. Like, what can you get for it? Like, I'm very intrigued by what potentially Brooklyn may want for Cam Johnson this offseason. Can I get my hands on a Cam Johnson? Can I get that 3-and-D guy?
Tell me more.
Can I package 14 and another asset or picks for Cam Johnson?
Cam Johnson, who last season averaged 18.8 points per game, 4 rebounds and 3.5 assists.
We got the Drew Show
Shooting
here coming in with another
nearly 40%
$5 super chat, and we appreciate it, man.
Yep, 39.2. He's out there.
The Drew Show is giving us another super chat, so you want to read that, Mike?
Yeah, Drew Show
one's for
says,
you.
Mr. Jimenez, when you go off like that and say you're crazy Skip Bayless on acid and meth takes, it's like a puppy messing with the floor.
Chancla. You get the chancla.
Here it comes.
You get
the chancla coming on in. It used to be the grito for $5. You know what? We didn't do the grito for the Spurs getting the number 2 pick. I know Pledge really likes the grito.
Oh, yeah,
This is for the Spurs. This is for the Spurs fans who are basking in the glory of last night's NBA draft lottery. This is the grito to celebrate.
Presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Oh, the celebrations on Market Square. Pledger had to walk away from the screen because he hates the grito. As he said last time he was on, he goes, I don't remember it being that long.
Hey, we got
It's
another
like 30 minutes
super chat
long
coming
now.
in
Like,
here,
have
too.
y'all looped it? What's going on?
It's always been like that.
Okay, so AR Doc 318, welcome to the show, says you have to take the best available, which is Harper by far. Big gap between 2 and 3. I do think that probably means you trade either Castle or Fox. Like there's an odd man out when it comes to it. I think the odd man out, Pledge, if any player's an odd man out, is probably Vassell. Probably Vassell. But if they roll the ball out there and say, hey, all 4 of you guys are on the team,
Figure it out.
Odd man out's Blake Wesley. Nice knowing you. But we got to see how these guys work together before getting rid of them, because maybe they gel, maybe they don't. We got to figure it out.
Accept your role. And if you can't accept your role, I'll find you a new home.
Look, we had some comments here, and one of them was like, well, if Wemby's a generational talent, why do we need to get Giannis? And then we have this other comment here by Mr. Cool. He says, Spurs fans, do you realize that Giannis is a generational talent? Yes, Wemby should be, but Giannis and Wemby will win us the title now.
Yeah, this reminds me a little bit of the whole Paul George trade with the OKC Thunder and the Clippers back in the day. You know, a win-now mentality of going out and getting a Paul George, who at the time was a top 10 player in the NBA. But who did you ship out? You shipped out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And you asked the question to Clipper fans, who would you rather have had? If you could go back in time and unravel that trade, would you have done that? The Clipper fans would say yes, right? You have 2 or 3 years of that window with Paul George, but they gave up 8 years of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The
Well,
Spurs
look
right
at
now.
it in another term.
If we
look
get
at it in
Giannis,
another term.
yeah,
When
yeah.
it comes to Dylan Harper, you got to treat this like Indiana and Sacramento. Sacramento had De'Aaron Fox and drafted Tyrese Halliburton anyway. They just figured it out.
Right.
The Pacers have Miles Turner and drafted Domantas Sabonis anyway. Both of them had two bigs. Both of them had two guards. Both needed, one needed a big, one needed a guard. You swapped them out and you swapped an all-star for an all-star, and it worked. Like, sometimes you just take the best player and then figure it out later. Because in the NBA draft, especially because players of that caliber in the NBA are so hard to come by, you just take the best player and you figure it out after the fact, because you can always trade a great player later on.
Look at this, Mike. You ran a poll, right, on the X earlier, and you had asked the question, 8 years of Dylan Harper or 2 years of Giannis while giving up players and more picks. Right now, I'm looking at the results. Keep Harper and picks. 67.9% of the voting says, yes, you do that. Trade for Giannis, 32.1%. I think getting that overall number 2 pick changed the dynamic.
Because the dynamic yesterday would have flipped it. It would have been 2/3 say trade for Giannis, because there was the hope wasn't there that we were going to get much better. But now that we have Dylan Harper poised to be part of this team, it changes things. It just does. I mean, I hate to say it that way. It just does.
I understand.
You roll with the punches.
I understand that Giannis is a generational talent. I do. Most teams would love to have him, right? But at the same time,
right,
Giannis needs a certain team around him. He only succeeded when he was surrounded by Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and Connaughton and DiVincenzo and PJ. PJ Tucker and Brooke Lopez. You know what all those guys do? They D and they 3. Every single one of them. And the Giannis can just do everything else from the inside. That's not the way this team's built, really.
Right. By the way, I'm looking at the rookie scale for the 2025-2026 season, according to Spotrac.com. Dylan Harper at the number 2 pick will make $12.3 million year 1, $13 million year 2, $13.6 year 3, and final year of the contract at $17 million. That's what he's locked in at. Someone's asking the question, Pledge, on the stream, and this is actually a very good point. Spurs had that number 14 pick. What would it take? I mean, remember, you're a huge Houston Texans fan. Remember when the Texans moved in and had 2 picks in the top 3? You were there at that drafting in Kansas City. What if, hear me out, Spurs draft Dylan Harper, Spurs have that 14 pick, package it with a future first-round draft pick, maybe the 2027 pick for that Atlanta has, go get Con Knipple. Go get somebody at 6 or 7. I'm in. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Go
like,
get
as soon as you start addressing glaring needs on this team, I'm in. And Con Knipple fills a glaring need of much needed floor spacing and shooting.
But will he be there at number 14?
No, he won't.
No, you're going to have to move up.
It's going to be 16 or 17. Now, I'm looking at a mock draft from CBS Sports, and they're saying that at number 14, it's very possible for Kaman from Duke, the 7'1" center, to drop to the Spurs at 14. You okay with that one, or do you want to go after a shooter instead?
Yeah, what happened here?
Like I said, I really want to be able to address needs. Both of those players fill a need for the San Antonio Spurs. I would be really good with either of them. If you don't end up getting Dylan Harper at 2, I would be cool with getting like a later in the draft, a Walter Clayton Jr., like someone who just provides something that the Spurs desperately and obviously need. So whether it's the Duke big, whether it's Concaniple, whether it is Queen, whether like things that the Spurs desperately need to round out the holes that fill on this roster and start plugging some of those in.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, the mock draft that just got released by ESPN, Jonathan Givony and Jeremy Wu obviously have the Spurs taking Dylan Harper at number 2, but at number 14 they have Carter Bryant, the small forward, at number 14.
Hey, we do have an incoming super chat from Jason Garcia. You want to go ahead and talk about this one, Mike?
Yeah, it says Chancla for Mike for saying back in the day for something that happened just a couple of years ago. Overuse of back in the day for recent events is basically a pet peeve of his. Let's get it.
Says Chancla. See?
Pleasure. We're excited as Spurs fans. Maverick fans finally get their savior all over again. Nico Harrison gets to live to see another day. When you saw that the Mavericks got the number 1 overall pick, I know we're rivals with them, but man, that fan base needed something. They needed something. They got their guy.
I mean,
Flag.
just think about how brutal this is. I mean, you've got a team that's going to get Cooper Flag, already has Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. Like that's a team that's ready to compete for the playoffs immediately. You've got the teams that are already in the playoffs right now. You've got teams that are potentially going to take the next step. Like at some point, like there's just, it's a long road to hoe to get into the playoffs and be successful in the playoffs. And more than star power is going to be taken to get you over the hump, to get you through there. You need pieces that cohesively fit together. And the Spurs have to start working on that, because being in the playoffs, much less consistently, no matter how good you are, all the teams around you are getting better, and you've got to find a way to be consistently good if you're going to get back into being a great team, because it's not like before where it's, the 6 to 8 teams that are always in the playoffs and they're battling it out each year and you're trying to just work your way up the ladder like when the Spurs were there. It was the Suns, right, the Lakers, the Mavericks, and Utah back in the day, right? And that was back in the day because it was in the 90s. But like those, you had the hurdles that you had to clear. Those were the good teams in the West. They were always the good teams in the West. The West is insanely deep and insanely talented right now. It's not easy.
We got another incoming super chat.
AR Doc 318 says, what do you think it would take to trade up to number 1? Ordinarily, it could not happen, but this is Nico Harrison that we're talking about. I think it's 3 firsts. I think it's the 2 and 2 others.
Okay,
or let me and a good solid player.
If you offer Devin Vassell, number 2, the Atlanta swap next year, and the Atlanta 27, do you think you could get it done?
I don't, but I would do it.
You would do it if you're the Mavs. Would you accept that? I got to think at it from the other side, because every Spurs fan would do everything that benefits them. Think about it from the Mavs perspective. What would it take for you to move off of drafting Cooper Flag if you're the Mavericks?
Nico Harrison is the villain already, right? He's the villain, and if he's gonna go all in on himself again, and he thinks it's the best thing for the team, he probably, as you said, would do it. He probably would. Real fast, Joe. We have some video coming in from the Spurs.
Let's get to this real quick, too. Tony Ornelas sent us a $1.99 super chat. And appreciate you, Tony. Thank you so much. He says, quiet trade, look at the Lakers ratings. Mavs, number 1 pick. Conspiracy theory.
Everyone talking about the conspiracy theory. Yeah. Hey, we have a new fearless leader for the Spurs. His name is Mitch Johnson. He's the new head coach. He was out there at the draft lottery. And the Spurs released this video. Let's see what Mitch Johnson has to say about last night's events.
Can't hear him. Ooh. Did you get the audio there, Mike?
I do. I got it going. Let's try it one more time. Let's see here. Okay, so it's not out there, but he says
got
he's very
subtitles.
excited about the dynamic. We got subtitles, lots of dynamic players, different types of players, and he's excited about going up to number 2. But Mitch Johnson now has a lot to do now, man. Mitch Johnson, first year as head coach, 37 years old. He's going to be taking over this team. Not only is it a youth movement on the court, but it's also on the bench. Pledge, what were your thoughts when Mitch Johnson was named the head coach of the Spurs?
I mean, tracks. Spurs like continuity, consistency. It tracks.
Yeah.
I've got to see it. I've got to see him with a full complement of players. I got to see him, knowing that he's the guy, that nobody's pulling the strings behind the scenes, or that he's been thrust into a position he wasn't ready for. I've got to see it before I make a full judgment. I'm not thrilled about it with the things that were out there, but I'm willing to give it a chance because I'm not going to judge it before it actually happens. The one thing he did say in his presser yesterday that I think kind of got lost is he was asked about, moving up to number 2. He was like excited, nervous, thinking about this, but then he finished the quote with, "They're now in a position to make a big acquisition." Those were his exact words.
Ooh, let's hear that. Let's hear. I think I fixed the audio, Joe. This is courtesy of the San Antonio Spurs. Let's see what he had to say.
We were excited about having 2.
It's real low.
It's really low. Okay, well, there you go. We'll go away from it then. Joined by James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. Thank you so much for all this. By the way, we got to give some love to MCS General Contracting. They run our chat over here. We're powered by MCS General Contracting.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
And don't forget to show some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. You can follow him at Twitter on Threads at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Hey, Joe, if you could show my screen real fast. Lots of articles and columns by Jeff Garcia going on. Reaction to the Spurs draft lottery luck, as he says, strikes again at Jeff G Spurs Zone, Twitter Threads, also at Kens5.com. I found this to be funny, Pledge. If you can take a look here. All the different articles here, interviews with Mitch Johnson, the new head coach of the Spurs, and asking about Devin Vassell working on his game. Lots of articles about the Spurs. But Micah posted this on Twitter. This is an actual photo of me in Jamaica a few weeks ago, saying Mike when he sees a pool of dumb takes.
Yeah.
You know what somebody had put on here before you got on here, Pledge, when we announced you're going to come on, and then you finally got on here, and they put it in the chat, and it says, in all caps, "You moron," when you called Mike a moron when you were on the show last. Oh,
Hey,
God.
and as we're doing our ads right now, show my number real fast. If you want to give me a call, this is my number, man. This is my cell phone number, 210-508-0369. For those of you who don't know, not only do I do hot takes, factual takes. My takes are like TLC in the 90s. They're actual and factual more often than not. I do financial services, retirement planning, life insurance, disability insurance, even dabbling in auto and homeowners insurance. 210-508-0369. Shoot me a text. I'll give you a call back, and we can talk about your financial investment and insurance needs.
Just
Joined
shoot
by
him a
James Pledger of
text
San
or
Antonio
a
Sports
phone
Star
call and
941.
call him a moron.
Yeah.
It's kind of ballsy for me to put my number out there, right? I
little
mean,
bit,
it is
a
what
little
it is. Pledger is the host of Extra Innings at San Antonio Sports on Monday through Friday from 6 to 7. Pledge, we've talked a lot about the draft. Talked a lot about Mitch Johnson. Talked about a lot about Giannis and all that's been going on.
Those are very important things. This is a big offseason for San Antonio.
It is.
If you want to break,
And
ground and get the public behind you on something like Project Marvel, you need to start winning.
And we talk about knowing your role. I posted on Twitter yesterday, enough of the Giannis talk. Let's just go get Nas Reed and make it happen.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
get
in
these
for a
role
Nas
players who are
Reed.
dynamic role players. Just as constituted right now, we're a 500 team at this point, right? I mean, just adding Dylan Harper to the team, we're a 500 team. We were a 34 win team before.
Okay.
Disagree? What are we right
We
now?
never got to see Wemby and Castle together, really. We don't know what they would have been. Like, they could have been a
Right.
500 team last year.
We didn't see De'Aaron Fox and Wemby very often. I think they played only like 10 games together.
Yeah,
so this
that's
is an
what I mean.
exciting offseason. This is an offseason for Spurs fans where we can look at this and think to ourselves legitimately, we don't know what we've got. All we know is that it's going to be good. We have a lot of winning combinations when it comes to things. And speaking of winning combinations, how is it that the Spurs keep winning in the lottery? Last year moved up from 5 to 4. Before that, moving up to get number 1 in Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs
I mean, you
and the
had the best
lottery
odds
just
that year.
somehow go together. Yeah, but he also had a 48% chance of being outside the top 4 that season as well.
You know what that screams to? That screams to conspiracy theories, because
Oh, God.
everybody's kind of talks about it here and there, and it's like, here you go. What is the conspiracy? Because the Mavs lost, Luka in that
right.
trade. Spurs
Joe.
are always up there in the draft. It's like it's the balls, man. At the end of the day, ping pong balls fall where they may.
Joe, can I request a chancla at all conspiracy theorists?
You can request a chunkla. You
All
can.
conspiracy theorists get
can.
the chancla. The reason I say
There
that
you
is
go.
because you know how hard it is to keep a secret, especially in this day and age. So to think that the
It's
league,
true.
run by a bunch of billionaires that all want to win, can keep a secret that prohibits potentially other team owners that have invested billions of dollars from getting a player that helps their own team. Like that, it's absurd.
That also is monitored by and actually conducted by PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a legitimate firm that does accounting.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
man,
mean,
that would be that would, and on top of that, you have team representatives from every team who are monitoring what's going on when the lottery is being done. There's no conspiracy when it comes to it. It's ridiculous.
Martin Murphy says they don't use ping pong balls anymore.
They do.
They do,
It's a
but like,
combination.
and Bear County officials are wondering why or Bear County socials wondering why we can't see it, because nobody would watch it. That's why. Like they're doing a ready-made for TV event.
So back in the day, let me backtrack on what that guy said. Back in the day, they used to do the ping pong balls that had the team logo, right?
Oh,
This was years and years ago.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
back in the day, you'd open up, it's like, oh, it's the Houston Rockets, right?
Yeah.
When they do the lottery now, it's not like that. It is combinations, right? It's like a locker combination, and it's like the combination might be 13, 4, 7, 2, and they're all looking at lottery tickets going, which one is that one? So much so that when the Spurs got Victor Wembanyama and they got down to the final ball being picked out, there was a 75% chance the Washington Wizards were going to get Wemby, because based on the 3 balls that got picked first, right, the 3 numbers in the combination, 75% of the remaining numbers left belonged to Washington, but the Spurs had one and the Spurs got it. So it's kind of interesting. So it's not one of those things where they do use ping pong balls, but it's used as combos, like codes to determine who wins it. So it's different.
Now,
It's
I've
different.
got a
By the way,
question,
the Dallas Mavericks, real fast, lost the coin flip with Chicago to get that pick. So they ended up winning Cooper Flag by losing a coin flip.
as you
That's pretty
talked
cool.
about Cooper Flag, I have a question in terms of the Dallas Mavericks. And we all saw last night, there was a completely different reaction for Cooper Flagg when he found out who was getting the number 1 overall pick versus Victor Wembanyama when he found out who was getting the number 1 overall pick, right? It wasn't a look of thrill or joy. Now, he has to go wherever he's drafted. He can't force his way. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
And there's his reaction right there. Does that look like a happy guy to you?
If Dallas has him and Harper graded similar, could there be a way for San Antonio to potentially make a play? If it's known that he prefer potentially not to be there.
That would be so interesting if that happened. I mean, we've seen that in football, right? You look at, do you want Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, right? We don't know what the draft board says because the draft board might say Cooper Flagg number 1 across the board. There might be a handful of teams that do say Dylan Harper is that guy.
Sure.
Right?
Currently, this is the mock draft from Yahoo Sports that's being put out there on the X. And they have to know
any mock draft's going to have Cooper Flagg number 1,
but it could
period.
change. Yeah.
But the important
But
thing
it
to
could
understand,
change.
the important thing to understand is every single mock draft. Show me a mock draft. Someone tweet me a mock draft that shows Dylan Harper not at number 2. That shows you how good he is.
He's going to be up there, yeah. And then look at Con Knippel, right? They have him at going number 5 with the Utah Jazz. Spurs are at number 14. Then, like we said, they could move up if they want to go ahead and get
the problem is
Con Knippel. But I mean, who knows it'll happen.
The problem is Con Knippel he's a hard worker. He's a coach's kid. He's sneaky athletic. Like, he fits the things that Utah is looking for in a player.
Oh, that's so funny.
I love it how Pledge just digs the knife in you, man.
That's so funny. Hey, I'm looking at the measurables according to some of these players. Let's see here. Dylan Harper is came out as being 6'4.5", 6'4.5" without shoes. So he's not as he's when they give the height, like 6'6" is kind of like that's with him in shoes, right? Ace Bailey, who everyone has said was 6'10",
shoes are these
right?
guys wearing?
Are these like platform heels?
Yeah,
I mean,
my shoes don't do this.
You grow that much with like maybe half an inch, a quarter of an inch, Pledge?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't go
not...
from 5'10" to 6'3" in tennis shoes. What in the hell is Ace Bailey wearing?
They're wearing Timberlands is what they're wearing, like George Costanza back in the day. Ace Bailey came out at 6'7.5", but the one that's legit, one that is legit in height, Common from Duke, 7 feet 3/4 of an inch. He's a quarter inch away from 7'1", legit, with a 7'6" and 3/4 inch wingspan. That is crazy. That is crazy. Pledge, what's going on at Sports Star, my man?
Oh, we're going to be reacting to this all day long. Jason and Joe on the Blitz starting at 2:00, and then I'll take us home at 6 as soon as that's done. I imagine this is going to dominate conversation just because of the multitude of ways that San Antonio can handle this. If they want a Giannis Antetokounmpo, they can get him. If they want to take Dylan Harper at 2, they can. If they want to trade up or back or use that to acquire another asset, go get a Cam Johnson, the world is their oyster. They have all the assets available to them to be able to make any move that they deem to be able to help this roster to start winning in the immediate.
Most definitely.
Now look at
6
this.
to 7 Monday through Friday.
Hopefully this is the
Look
last.
at this, Pledge. This is some video that they had yesterday from what's going on inside the Rue Pub over there with you guys,
Courtesy of
hosting.
Ken's 5.
Yeah, this courtesy of Ken's 5. It was cool, man. Looked like you had a good time out there. Had a good crowd out there celebrating that number 2 pick.
Rue Pub's
Unfortunately, it was
always a
number
good
one,
time
not
to-
number 1, so everybody had to pay
Yeah,
Hey,
everybody had to
brew
pay
pub's
their,
always a good time, and
everybody
when
had
we
to pay
throw
their
a party there, the lottery gods usually smile on us.
There you
Very
go.
nice.
It almost happened.
Catch Pledger from 6 to 7, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You can also watch him do his thing on San Antonio Sports Star's YouTube page as well. Pledge, thank you for being such a good friend. Thank you for being on our show back-to-back days. And remember this, Pledge, I miss you. I miss you.
And that's all creepy. You know we're going to get the clip of that, right?
Yeah.
Later on, Pledge, man. Thanks for being on with
We'll
us,
see
brother.
you, man.
Love
Thank
you guys.
Pledge.
Y'all.
There you go.
Yeah, so we have Pledger, as he mentioned earlier. He called me yesterday and instead of saying hello or what's up or can you believe we got the number 2 pick, I answered the phone with, I miss you.
Oh, God, that's creepy, man.
Pledger's and I miss working with Pledger, dude. Pledger's a good guy, dude.
Yeah, Pledge is good people, man. You know, we haven't played the video for Jeff, so I think we need to go ahead and... Locked on Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked on Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked on Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked on Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
That's right, at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So I'm watching or reading rather the Ringer.com, the 2025 NBA draft analysis. And I just want to give you kind of a quick synopsis of what it says. It says, quote, for Dylan Harper, who, by the way, is 6'6", 215, 6'6" in shoes, he's 19 years old. It says, to get a clearer sense of where Harper is headed, watch his feet, but have the pause button ready. He is one of the jewels of the draft with a full modern toolkit, Euro steps, step backs, spins, and step throughs. Harper plays a patient game, and while he lacks top-end speed, he parcels out his short area quickness in small bursts. There's also an intent behind his dribbles, his footwork, his feints, his hesitations, his body control, in conjunction with ball handling ability, grants him unique ways of throwing defenders off. He's constantly placing an emphasis on every different syllable every time he goes down the floor. His on-ball command, manipulating ball springs, splitting hard edges out of pick and rolls is like second nature, and it ought to be illegal at his age. He just turned 19. And it's talking about his talents. And it says, what is his talents? Ball handling, crafty finisher, and most importantly, it says he has ridiculous upside, rather. Amazing. Spurs are going to get Dylan Harper. I don't think we're trading the pick. I think it'd be foolish to. Because look at it this way, Joe. We're going to have Wemby, Castle, and Harper on rookie deals at the same time.
Yeah.
Meantime, we're going to have Barnes, Sohan, Wesley, and Branham, and Bassie, and Champagny all fall off at the same time. And we have the 2026 swap with Atlanta next year. And we have Atlanta's unprotected in 2027. And we have our own picks. I'm sorry, Joe. We're going to pour one out and do one last grito. This is for the F them picks, guys.
Oh, God. All right, we'll cut that one short. But, you know, I was going to show you this, too. This is interesting. I just saw this. Front Office Sports, which I follow on the X, they always release some good stuff, good content. And they just released this. And this is something that I had been telling everybody for quite some time, even years ago. The advent of AI, it's going to be making an appearance now. And ESPN is going to be using this because now ESPN is going to have a new streaming app that's going to debut an AI-powered sports center. and it's gonna have like AI tailored coverage for your preferences, and also track the teams you root against.
That's
that
funny.
something?
That's funny.
Oh,
Rooted the teams you're against, so it's going to track the Cowboys because
The
I'm
Rockets.
not a big fan of the Cowboys. I'm not a fan of the Rockets either. F the Rockets, as Jeremy Sohan said. Oh my goodness! And do we have any good comments coming in? By the way, we had a lot of people listening to this show. This is probably the most watched show, probably in the last 4 or 5 months. And we've had some good shows the past couple of days.
and man, we had like over 100 and some odd people, 105, 106 people watching
At one time.
at one time, and the comments were just coming in fast and furious. We had a ton of super chats come in here. I mean, it was a great show, man.
Give me a good comment or two that you've enjoyed that's come in.
Mike didn't pay for the grito. Call the collections department. Oh, I like that one from Sean Salinas. That's a good one.
That's funny.
And it says, you have Tony Ornelli says, keeps the picks. Not worth it for a guaranteed championship for Giannis. And you know, that's the consensus.
Is it a guaranteed
Here's the consensus that you have. You have the faction of fan now that still wants to go ahead and trade for Giannis, you know, and then you have the other half of the fan base who's like, you know what, that number 2 pick kind of changed things. Let's just keep the picks and keep the team's future intact. Because if you go and trade for Giannis, arguably you're going to be giving up future picks, and also you're going to have to get rid of some players that are going to be instrumental.
You lose your depth. I didn't care about the picks at 8 or 9.
Yeah, that wasn't doing nothing for you.
It wasn't doing anything because I wasn't looking at, as much as I like Concanipple, as much as I like Kamen, they're not future all-stars. Okay? They're like, Knipple is considered to be like Josh Giddey, right? Kamen is considered to be kind of like a JaVale McGee, kind of a light version of, oh my God, who am I thinking? Who's that jazz center? I can't believe I just had a brain fart of it all. But it's so funny that I'm looking at it, and I just look at these players and I'm like, they're just good role players. Dylan Harper.
You're talking about Kessler?
Oh no, I'm thinking about somebody else, man. I'm sorry, but I'm looking at former Jazz center, the one there's like 7 first rounders traded for him, rookie of the year. Why am I drawing a blank? He's French.
Oh, you're talking about Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
From
Okay.
years ago, yeah.
Rudy Gobert light, right? I look at those players like that, but you look at Dylan Harper, and we have a star, Joe. And it's like, are we going to be paying 60 to 70 million a year and deplete our backcourt, deplete our depth to pair him up for 2 years with Wemby? Right? The answer is yes. Until what? Until the ping pong balls went our way.
Yep.
And at that point, we built through the draft.
Built through the draft, but you know what? VJ Edcombe, man, they're showing him right now.
Oh, he can play,
dude. 40-inch vertical.
Baylor University.
Yikes.
Dude,
Kid's got some hops, man.
Edgecombe can just, I mean, he wants to assassinate the rim when he takes off, dude.
Look at this kid, man. Getting up there.
I don't know. The whole thing about F them picks is to get a good player. Well, what if that good player is staring us in the face?
You know, do you think that Harper is better than Cooper Flag? You know, what of the out of the realm of possibility, Mike, and we kind of talked about this. Spurs had Rookie of the Year in Wemby, had Rookie of the Year in Castle. They get, let's say they go ahead and they draft Harper.
Mm-hmm.
Is that another one? You think the trifecta there? You could have 3 Rookie of the Years back to back to back?
It's very possible. It really is because, I mean, look at it this way. I'll give you the positives of it all and the negatives of it all. Cooper Flag's going to be playing for a team that has a big man there in Anthony Davis, has Kyrie Irving when he gets healthy again, and it's going to get every opportunity to play. Dylan Harper is going to be in a very loaded backcourt with a young coach. So it might be a little bit more difficult for Harper to do it. I don't think it's impossible, but it might be a little bit harder. But what a fantastic fan. Oh, by the way,
Cooper Flag is not 6'9" as advertised. He's 6'7".
And look at
the
Sam.
the measurables coming on in.
Sam Salinas says, "Nah, last guy we got from Baylor was total ass," referring to Sohan. I'm still here, Sohan. That's Matt Lerma's battle cry forever, dude.
Kamen from Duke coming in with the largest wingspan at 7 feet 6 inches and 0.75. Thomas Sorber, who's also considered to be a potential lottery player, coming in at 7 feet 6 inches wingspan, but he's 6'9" compared to Kamen, who came in just shy of 7'1". The combine's here, Joe. The draft's going to be in about 6 weeks, right? End of June?
Yeah.
5 weeks or so? Amazing, dude.
You know, NBC's doing some great things, man. They are going to be bringing in Michael Jordan, you know, as an analyst, a guest analyst from time to time. Now it's being reported here by Yahoo Sports. They're also going to be bringing in the great Vince Carter. He's going to be joining NBC Sports
That's badass.
as an NBA studio analyst, the network has announced, and this is just released about an hour ago. NBC Sports here on the Peacock Network, bringing back the NBA and that jingle, dun 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 dun. You know, everybody loves that, and now they're bringing all this talent in.
Are you talking about the John Tesh music?
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's iconic, man. They're putting together something special, I believe, over here in NBC.
Yeah.
With the NBA returning, they're doing it big, and I think the ratings are going to be astronomical for them.
Did you ever hear the story about how John Tesh got that song?
Yeah, dude, you had told us at one time he was somewhere and he heard the jingle. He heard it in his head, and then he went and called himself on the answering machine.
He called his
like,
answers.
dun, 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 dun,
By the way, Joey Austin and Tony Ornelas and JHNSB going after each other on the chat line, powered by MCS General Contracting, is so funny. One of them is like, "Man, Sohan's improving." The other one is like, "No, his numbers still suck. They're the same."
Still ass. What is it? It's like getting like, what do you remember when way back in the day they tried to go ahead and change the formula to Coke?
Yeah.
Right? And they change the formula and they slap a new label on it and everything, and then they bring it back, and then people, ever since they did that, they're like, still sucks.
Yeah.
You know, that's Jeremy Sohan. You can put another label on him, do whatever you want to. At the end of the day, they're going to be like, he still sucks.
You know how we keep on winning the lottery?
Yeah.
Okay, winning the lottery is going to the top 4, right?
Yeah.
Number 1, getting Wemby. Number 4, getting Castle. Number 2, getting Harper, more than likely. Do you know who we are?
No.
We look down at the NBA teams and look at NBA other fans of other NBA teams. We look down and go, peasants.
Yeah, they are peasants, dude. Especially the Rockets. Fuck the Rockets and fuck the fan base over there. Always talking their shit against us, San Antonio Spurs fans, talking bad about our city. But you know what? What happened to your team? Even though they did go to the playoffs, they got bounced real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, what good did it do you? You know?
Hey, look at this. Look at this. Cooper Flag has small hands. He has small hands.
You showing it there?
No, I'm looking at the size of the hands.
Oh, God.
For his size, he has small hands.
Isn't that like Zachary Rees-Sarchet?
No, that was Kenny Pickett, and in football when he dropped in the draft, and then Zachary Rees-Sarchet had small hands also. That's funny, dude.
I like it when everybody goes at each other in the chat. It's fun, man. NBC, look at Black Bucket says NBC will have to adjust for Jordan's yellow eyes.
By the way, Cayman Maluak.
Oh,
Cayman Maluak, who was talking about it, he has the second highest standing reach. Standing up and reaching up in the sky, 9'6".
God.
Go get me that guy. Go get me that or
You don't even
Conca
gotta jump. You don't even gotta jump, dude.
Conca Nipple can't come to the Spurs for one reason only. Tony
Wow.
Parker will hit on his mom.
He's gonna be cochino out there.
People are talking about this on there.
Yeah, Tim Gonzalez was saying that his mom is.
I had
hot.
to Google it. But, I don't know. I don't know. Is this true or not? Remember that guy on TikTok? He was like, smash.
Oh,
Pass,
smash or pass. Let's go ahead. Because people were saying, look at Donic's mom was hot too.
I had no idea.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah, this is his mom right here. Let's see if we can get a better picture.
They're asking what Ace Bailey's wingspan is.
Yeah,
Ace Bailey's wingspan is 7 feet and half an inch, so just under 7'1".
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share a picture. I just got it right now.
Let's see.
There she is.
Legs McGee.
That's his mama.
Tim Gonzalez, you might have been right. You might have been right.
Mike throbbing over length.
That's so funny.
Oh,
dude.
look at Black Bucket. She's meh. You know what? Maybe you should do that. Get a poll together. NBA's hottest moms.
I don't know any, like the NFL ones are the ones that get like all the new like all the love on social media.
Yeah.
The NBA ones, I don't think they do.
They haven't done one, dude. I think we should do one. As we get closer to the season, it'd be like NBA's hottest moms, you know? Hottest mom poll.
Well, what was that guy from the Jets, the quarterback? Why am I?
You're drawing a blank today for everything. You get old, bro.
Oh, I know, man.
Look, we got a sighting here.
Zach Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Zach Wilson. It'll be called the Zach Wilson poll.
Look at, they got video right now. Cooper Flag. Blazing through the pro lane agility drill on his first. You couldn't do this, and I couldn't do this. We'd fall on our ass.
Okay, dude, let me tell you about this, man.
Oh, Mike.
No. Over the last 3 weeks, I've had really bad knee issues. My knees were locking up, and it was starting to hurt my quads. I was on TikTok. I went and found all these different. I talked to a couple of doctors over the phone. They wouldn't tell me. They were like, "Oh, we'll try this, try that, try this like cream on your knee and all that stuff."
Yeah,
dude, I was so in pain a couple of days ago. I was at DKR for the University of Texas commencement for the graduates over there.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk up and down the stairs. I was like an old man, dude.
Needed your cane?
Dude, I needed a cane, man. And I'm not exaggerating. I was in excruciating pain. I thought I had to go to the hospital.
Jeez.
I ended up going on TikTok, and I found this doctor on there who was saying, if you have this particular type of injury, I just like did some searches on there. You lay on your back, and then you get a towel, and you put it behind your thigh, and basically you do your own like physical therapy.
Yeah. And
then you wiggle your toes a certain way. You angle your feet a certain way. You do circles and this like that. It says you're gonna stand up and it's gonna pop, and your meniscus is gonna get back into place. Joe,
it happened.
I did it to both legs. Stood up, pop, pop, and everything's back. And it says go get some cold compressions. I went last night. I was at that pool over there in Austin, the Barton Springs pool.
Yeah,
dude, I feel like $1 million right now. I feel like I can race Leha.
Oh no! Don't, don't. Sucio games.
Let's give Leha some love, man. Let's show his number though.
Yeah, no, the Sucio games, dude. We need to have that.
There's his number, 210-774-9155, 210-774-9155. MCS General Contracting. You give them a call for your concrete placement needs, or if you want to tell him that you agree that you want him to F them picks, the Spurs to F them picks. But, man, it's a great day to be a Spurs fan. Thank you so much for all the people who joined today. I knew it was going to be a big show. The numbers are going to be a lot bigger than what we normally do. We've had some pretty good numbers, man.
Your first look at Giannis in a Spurs uniform.
Ain't going to happen.
Alongside Wemby.
Don't get me wrong. I'll celebrate it. I'll cheer it when it does. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think getting Dylan Harper yesterday. I mean, if you trade Dylan Harper and a couple of firsts and you get rid of Vassell's contract, I can see why there would be the temptation to do it. But my goodness, man. The number 2 pick, I can't. Sean Quintero says, Mike broke out the big black dick once he saw it at number 2. Okay, for those of you, because we have a lot of people who are watching right now who are like, what the hell is going on?
We want me to pull it from
Pull it out. You know what? We need to celebrate. We got to celebrate. Oh, you're going to work after this. That's right. The BBD is a rum that's very popular in Jamaica, and I got some for home and I got some for Joe over here, and it's called BBD, and it was a big old joke from the other day. So thank you, Sean, for bringing it up. Still unopened, by the way.
It's not open. We should have. They should have opened it.
Don't need to
yesterday.
mix it, dude. Just put it in a shot glass
Straight.
and go at it.
Just take it straight.
Everyone hit the
God,
like
man.
button all the way out. Again, Jeff G. Spurs Zone, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Subscribe to him on YouTube. Subscribe to him on Spotify. All that stuff. Fantastic, dude. It's been a great day. Thank you to James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Stars. 6 to 7 p.m. Extra innings on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. That's the name of his show. Then also the Blitz gets going, around 2 o'clock?
Yeah, 2 p.m.
2 p.m. That's Jason Minix and Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix on vacation. His daughter Erica got her master's degree at Arizona State,
Yeah,
so he's on his way to
congratulations.
Phoenix to go see her. So Joe Reinagle is going to be doing all that. Fantastic. Don't forget our good friends in the building. You have Rudy J and Mike Taylor.
Yeah,
Rudy
dude.
Campos Jr.
Sweep the league.
Sweep the league.
Evenings.
Does a fantastic job. Carolina Teague with her podcast. Support local radio, local media. And thank you so much for being part of today's show. We'll be back tomorrow.